Hey you guys, welcome back to the Weekend Love Bites. Let's go ahead and get started. As a reminder, for your Venus sign, you can also check your Mars sign for your sexual energy, as well as if you're dealing with a man or vice versa. And I'm making it a little bit easier for you guys this week too with the timestamps down in the description box down below. So if you want to just skip to the single part of your sign, I'll go ahead and put a timestamp for that. So it'll just be easier for everybody. So let's keep it short and sweet. Thanks guys so much for being here. Aries, let's begin with your sexual energy, which is coming out as the Lovers, which is a beautiful card for Aries because you are so sexually charged anyway, being a Mars-driven sign. The Lovers it kind of reaches a whole different field of things. So if you are in a partnership, there may be a little bit of a temptation to either be thinking about someone else, or maybe someone else kind of surfaces in your life and you're going to need to deal with their presence in your life, whether it's mental or emotional presence or actual physical presence may vary for each of you. You know, the thing I like about this card too is it does have the quality of different people satiating different kinds of desires, because at certain times we may need different things. Certain times we may need more of an emotional connection. Other times we may need more of an intellectual or more adventurous connection, you know. And I like that there's like the blonde versus brunette kind of thing, really satisfying the curiosity of the man, so to speak. And we all have that. We all have different needs at different times. And you may be at a place of like, okay, well, do I need really more of an emotional connection, or do I just need to go out and be with someone? You know, what do I really need? And so you're kind of forced with that. If you're in a romantic relationship, you may be, you know, kind of torn between the state of your relationship. Maybe there's a little bit of kind of weirdness going on with the Venus retrograde. So you're like, well, I really just want to have sex and I really want that connection, but I also need the safety too. And maybe I just really don't know what I can get from my partner. So we'll talk about that in each of the relationships or single readings, but overall energy is the Lovers. So really determining what it is you actually need sexually. And using that sexuality in a healthy way as well, and not being haphazard and not being irresponsible with your sexuality either. So, beautiful card for Aries, all right? Okay, relationship Aries, your current energy coming out is the Three of Wands reversed. Patience is a virtue. Yes, I think, are you waiting for your partner to do something? Because your partner seems to be really in this state of like not knowing what the heck is going on. This can be very irritating for an Aries. Not only are you Mars, but you're also cardinal, right? So it's like normally Aries, when they set their mind to something, they just go for it. And so this kind of teeter-totter, wishy-washy quality that's coming out, it's like no bueno for an Aries. And yet what's merging the two of you is this Empress energy, which is Venus, okay? But it's also the epitome of maturity as well. And I think Aries, you're exhibiting a great deal of maturity here with your partner, because normally the, you know, Seven of Coins, indecisiveness and just kind of like dilly-dallying around and maybe taking a little bit too much time with stuff, that can be really frustrating. But you're so open right now. You have such a non-judgmental quality about you. And maybe that's really where the sexual component really comes in, is, you know, with your partner. You know, do you really need the fun, adventurous sexual thing, or do you really need to be the more nurturing, motherly quality right now, or fatherly, you know, the more caring, nurturing person in the relationship right now? Maybe some of you are kind of in that battle, but you seem to be waiting. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for your partner to really act? Because right now they're not in that mindset at all. They're so focused on their own kind of thing. And you know, she is, you know, Venus quality. Venus is a very sexual entity, you know, very sexual goddess. She loves to love. She loves that, because I mean, she was notorious for having like affairs and stuff. Like, she was very amorous. So but yet at the same time, it was within her control, and it wasn't something that she just always had to act on either. So again, it's like the duality of the mistress versus the wife kind of thing coming out there. And yet you seem to be handling it very well, which is great. And I think it's very much appreciated by your partner as well at this time. All right? All right, see you guys next week. Okay, single Aries, are you guys having fun or what? What the heck is going on? This is amazing. Just going out there, having a good time, not really worrying about stuff. Maybe you're being extra social, more social than you normally are. Well, I mean, you're social anyway, but you have that urge, you have that sense of wanting to be with people. I think maybe you're even kind of getting in the holiday spirit already. I know that there's all these like jokes and everything on Instagram of like, it's Halloween. Okay, well, the day after Halloween, we get to celebrate Christmas. I walked into Starbucks this morning and they already had their little elf hats on, just completely bypassing Thanksgiving. Well, I think that you're kind of in this sort of festive mode, and I think there's an excitement in the air, and you're really picking up on it. Aries can be very sensitive to good energy, right? Like if there's good energy, it's like, oh, I want to be over there. I want to be where the people are having fun and where people are talking and where people are happy, And this is really great. And there's a utility quality here too. So this is the energy that you're dealing with. If you're single, you could be dating someone, a Queen of Pentacles kind of person, but more likely it's you, right? It's your the thing that's kind of getting in your way, which I think is you have to go to work still. Like you still have to do all the regular mundane stuff. For me, in my life, I actually just met a new Aries recently. And I just like fell in love with her like that. Me and Aries, like as my Libra and ascendant, like Libra Aries is so fantastic together, even though they're opposite. It's so funny. And like, she's a girlfriend of mine. And, but there's a work component there. Like I'm hiring her to do a service for me. And I think more than anything, we hit it off so well. She was like, oh man, I just wish we could just kind of hang out and go have fun. It's like, yeah, we got to get our work done. And that would be like me, the Virgo, the quality of the earth, kind of setting the pace. So you, Aries, might be getting paced. Let's say that. You're getting paced by the universe. You're getting paced by the people around you and still really having to focus on getting the job done. And in spite of that desire to go out, the good news is they're both upright, and I don't see any reason why you can't do both. It's just a matter of prioritizing your time, prioritizing your energy. It's more about energy management than time management, rather, and really putting that amazing Aries willpower to the best use possible. For you guys who are looking to date, a Four of Wands is an amazing thing because you get to go out and meet people. It's always like parties or weddings or social events, celebratory events, that kinds of things. So if you're wanting to meet someone, like go for it, but don't completely ignore your responsibilities either. Okay? Thank you guys so much for being here. See you next week. Okay, Taurus, let's kick things off with the sexual energy, which I love for you guys. It's Five of Swords. Look how beautiful this card is. You being a sign of beauty, like appreciate the feminine form, being Venus and all of this. I mean, this is beautiful. And the message behind this card, it's time to shake things up. Getting over your fears, getting over your insecurities, and just like having fun. And, Taurus is kind of an interesting sign because the stereotype, and I know this won't apply to all of you, but the stereotype for Taurus sexuality is that they're very monotonous, and they tend to just like it always in bed where it's comfortable and, maybe only a few positions. But this is like, doing it on the dining room table or taking it outside or, doing something really raw and something really advantageous. So have fun. Like especially if you're in a relationship, if you have a partner that you're comfortable with, this is about having fun. The singles out there, this will really apply in terms of the fear and insecurity. So if you're single, we'll talk more about this. But if you're in a relationship, like there is nothing, like I think your partner is totally on board and totally ready. And they seem to have that kind of kink to them as well. They may be dealing with things that a sexual outlet could be beneficial. So shake it up. Shake it up, Taurus. Have fun. All right. hey, Taurus, for your energy, for the relationships, if you are in a relationship, you are coming out as Temperance, which is super chill, super zen. I love this for Taurus because you do have a very relaxed vibe when you're comfortable. Like when you're totally in your zone and you're in your environment, you have this very in control, like can't be bothered kind of vibe. So this is a really great way to be coming out, especially in your relationships, just feeling like, yeah, things are great, things are confident, things are going well. Your partner might be going through stuff. This is what I was talking about in the sexual energy reading. You know, your partner might be having to be strong, right? Quote unquote, to be strong. They may have some issue going on at work, or maybe they're dealing with a difficult personality or someone with their family or whatever. And their ability to disconnect and their ability to power through and to have patience and perseverance and these kinds of things is really kind of being tested. So I think you're offering a really nice environment for them to really deal with that. That's why I was saying that, you know, if they have something else going on in the outside of life, that sex could be a great therapy for them, for your partner, and to shake it up and to be a little bit different and to, you know, do something maybe you've never done before could actually be, I mean, it can really be healing and take focus off, take the importance off, and be like a stress reliever. The energy that's bridging the gap between the two of you is the sun. I mean, how beautiful is that? 3 major arcana coming out, all 3 of them really beautiful, very warm, and all just very loving. So hopefully your relationships are going well, finishing off the Venus retrograde, moving in, you know, kind of moving back direct in Libra. And, you know, I think ultimately we've worked out a lot of the dark, dirty secrets. We've worked through a lot of the hardships. And it seems to me like you guys are on really firm grounding, at least for right now, okay? Getting ready for that Jupiter transit into Sagittarius, and also kind of mentally preparing for the Mercury retrograde there as well. So it'll be interesting, but good things. All right, see you guys next week. Hello, you single Taurus people. Now, we got 2 cards that came out for the current energy that you're exhibiting, and they are completely opposite. So I don't know what the heck is going on with you guys, but let's talk about it. We're getting the Wheel of Fortune and we're getting the 9 of Swords. Why is it that your Wheel of Fortune is turning over and bringing good things to you, and yet you are fearful of embracing it? Are you just afraid of the change? That's all. Are you afraid of the change? Are you afraid of actually having like that love in your life? Why? You know, why? It's amazing. You guys deserve it. And there's really no reason why you should be turning your back to the Wheel of Fortune either. This is how they fell out. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Now, when I pulled out the card of like what's challenging you or the energy that's kind of in front of you, we got the Queen of Swords, and the 9 of Swords was pointing to the Queen of Swords like this. So who is this person, right? Is this a part of you? Is this your own mind? Is this the insecurities that I was talking about, right? Your insecurities of how you look, the insecurities of your body, the insecurities of your sexuality. There's no reason, right? That's all illusions. That's why the 9 of Swords is coming out. It's illusionary. This could also be someone else too, like in the dating realm. Maybe you're really just not connecting with people, or you're feeling judged by the people that you're dating or the people that you're connecting with in some way, shape, or form. And be careful that you're not saying that all romantic people are a certain way, right? That you're not lumping every single person into this sort of box. Because a lot of times we do that. I even catch myself doing that. Like, oh, you know, my spiritual practice is so important to me, and I just know that it's going to be really, really, really hard to find someone that's going to be on that level. And so I just kind of automatically put everyone in that, like, we're not going to be able to have a conversation box kind of thing. And that's not true. And by doing that, you're really hindering and kind of even like putting the kibosh on the Wheel of Fortune, which is trying to give you all the good stuff. It's trying to give you all the goodies that life has to offer, including romantic love. So be careful and be cognizant of your mindset. Put yourself out there in a very vulnerable way, which I know is not like Taurus friendly, but to be vulnerable and to allow that sexuality and to allow that very human, like perfect imperfection to just like exude from you, because it's very magnetic, and you are a very magnetic sign, being like a fixed sign. It's very powerful. It's very beautiful. So don't turn your back on that. All right. You deserve it. All right. Thank you guys so much. See you next. Hello, Gemini. Let's talk about your sexual energy this week. I had to look this one up in the book because it's not like the regular tarot, right? So it has different definitions and stuff. So this one is actually about masturbation, like solo work, pretty much. Whether you're in a relationship or not, you know, there may be something that really comes up, or just kind of like a very strong sexual charge, or maybe some kind of like fantasy that like, oh, it just really kind of gets you really hot and bothered. And, you know, it's about, you know, taking care of it and having a good time, and, you know, really allowing your sexuality to flow and to be uninhibited entirely. And some of you who are in partnerships specifically, you know, your partner might not really be on board with certain things. And if you're single, you just might not really have that right person to do that with. Although when we get to the single reading, you'll see maybe not. The only thing to keep in mind with this is to just make sure that it doesn't hinder the progress of your life. And I know that sounds kind of strange, but to make sure that it's not hurting your romantic partner, to make sure that you're not like staying at home specifically to, you know, take care of yourself, and avoiding friends and all of that. Because sometimes this can be, because it's like a sword, right? It's very mental, and they're, you know, Geminis do like mental stimulation during sex, right? They do enjoy even like talking and, you know, that kind of stuff. And not everyone is really on board with that. So this is kind of a time when you may indulge in that fantasy a little bit. And of course, perfectly fine, just so long as it's not interrupting your life in a negative way, okay? I had to laugh when this one came out. I was like, I don't even really know how to talk about this. I'm like a little bit shy about it, but it is what it is. My Scorpio moon, we can talk about sex, that's okay. So, all right, there you go. There you have it, all right? Let's go ahead and move into the singles and the relationships reading. All right. Okay, relationship Geminis, your energy is coming out as the High Priestess reverse. What is coming up? What is surfacing? Sexual desires, sexual fantasies maybe. There is an element of churning with this, like you're very active, your insides are very active, you have a lot of thoughts, you have a lot of emotions going on. I mean, there's just a lot, and I think a lot of the attention is on you right now within your relationships, because your partner is coming out as the Knight of Wands, which is beautiful. I love like the Knight of Wands for a Gemini. You know, there's that caring quality that he brings to the table too, he or she, that this is very Sagittarian quality, right? It's kind of your opposite. And so this person is really balancing you out. This person is adventurous too, right? So if there is something going on, and you know, you don't have to do it by yourself, I think this person really would be interested in, you know, like taking it out of the box a little bit and doing something fun. You know, this is someone that's there for you, but there's the energy that's bridging you is weird. And maybe this is why that solo thing is coming online, because why Seven of Swords? This is a quality of secrecy or even deception sometimes. Sometimes it is even self-sabotage, right? Like maybe it's even your fear. Like, yes, maybe you want something. Yes, maybe you want this kind of thing, and your partner's really not on board and you don't know how to ask for it. So maybe that's why there's that solo quality and really like pulling away. But I don't know. I don't really know that that's well-founded. I don't know that that's really something you should be afraid of. I think a Knight of Wands is, like, again, that Sagittarius quality. Like, please, they're all about adventure. You know, be careful that you're not projecting your own fear of, like, really the core essence of who you are simply because you're afraid to be that thing. This is someone that I don't necessarily think would judge you. Okay, I don't think that this person would judge you. And the only reason why I'm saying that it's more you, because you're coming out as a major arcana reverse. So I think this Seven of Swords has more to do with you than it has to do with them. They seem to be very like super interested in you, right? And you know, they seem to be like little Barbie dolls, right? Like, what can I do? How can I help? Again, very service oriented as well. So don't exclude them. It'll be okay. You'll find a medium ground. You'll make it work. All right, it's going to be short-lived. It's just a week. Just a week. All right, see you guys. Gemini singles. You know, the relationship reading came out pretty hot and heavy too, meaning your energy. In the relationship reading, it came out as the High Priestess reversed. So now we have the High Priest reversed. So clearly there is a connection. All Geminis really going through this kind of discovery, this inner sense of churning, and there's a lot of just stuff going on, and defining really who you are. Make sure that you're not really hanging on to guilt. Now is not a good time to guilt yourself into stuff, especially like I said, like if you have some kind of fantasy or you have some kind of thing that you really, you know, want to indulge in, like there's no reason to hold yourself back from that. I think that we live in a day and age now where religious dogma really isn't that really important, especially like if you're in the US or in like Australia, Canada, or like very free kind of places. You know, you'll have an ability to do the things that you really love to do. And to be honest, you singles out there, I mean, the energy that's blocking you isn't blocking you. It's actually presenting you with some kind of an opportunity. And, you know, an opportunity to do this with someone perhaps, or an opportunity to fulfill and satiate that romantic desire of yours. And, you know, it could be fun. An Ace of Wands is always fun. You know, in the relationship reading, the other person's energy was the Knight of Wands. So, I mean, this is like, I mean, can we just look at this for a second? I mean, it's so exactly the same, single or in a relationship. So what I can do is actually pull in the energy that was bridging the gap between the Gemini in a relationship and their partner to this for you. Like, what's bridging the gap between the High Priest and the Ace of Wands is just fear and insecurity. And there's really no reason for that to be the case. There's no reason for you to self-sabotage. You might as well have, you know, kind of what you want. And, you know, why is there a sense of shame, you know? Again, like, you know, when you think of religious institutions, or the amount of shame around sexuality, but here's a liberation of the sexuality here. And I don't see any reason why you can't indulge. I think that an opportunity will present itself. Now, if it's not with another person, then it's by yourself, you know, by all means, have a good time. If you feel like being social, great, go out, because you never know who you might meet. And it could turn into something, right? An Ace of Wands is not just like a one-night thing. I mean, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. It absolutely could be something substantial. I mean, this is a very flourishing wand. I mean, all the leaves represents growth and opportunity and all these beautiful things. So it doesn't have to just be like that. I mean, it can be more than that too. But you need to get over what's going on inside. Okay? All right, Gemini. It's just a week energy. Had to remind that for the relationship Geminis too. It's just a week. So enjoy. Have a good time. Okay, Cancer, let's start with your sexual energy, which is really beautiful, which is the 9 of Coins. And I had to read the description for this, and it talked about nourishment and how through kind of you being within each other's dominion, and there's kind of an essence of secrecy, and it's kind of like what happens behind closed doors stays behind closed doors. And it kind of gives you each a sense of power and a sense of connection, and it feeds all other areas of your life. So when we talk about nourishment, right, feeding each other that which helps the other person grow. Now, if you're single, there's going to be that craving for that nourishment, that craving for that intimacy and that purity and that true, like, absolute love and sort of gratification. But if you're in a relationship, this is absolutely possible for you to really find that with your partner this week, and to really open yourself up, to really open your heart chakra and allow the love to flow. That's really what sex is so good for, is, learning how to let love flow and learning how to let the love kind of circulate between the two, kind of like that infinity energy or the DNA spiral energy kind of thing, the way it just kind of wraps around you and binds you. So this is really, really beautiful and a great way to start the week. So let's go ahead and talk about relationships and singles, all right? Okay, you relationship Cancers, you are coming out as the Fool. What did I say about the heart chakra in the sexual reading, right? Open for anything, even an adventure, and being very real and being very authentic with who you are, and kind of like really owning this mission of, I have this new life in front of me and I feel refreshed and I feel like anything is possible. And your partner is kind of at an interesting place. They're kind of finishing something out. You're at different places, which you're at the opposite ends of the spectrum, which actually kind of puts you at the exact same space. They might be finishing, you might be beginning something, but ultimately you guys are super in sync. This is the beginning and the end. You're mirroring each other very, very well. Now, the energy that's bridging the gap between the two of you is the Seven of Coins, which tells me that there is a pivot point, that this is a pivot moment in your relationship. And there are certain things that are needing to be scratched off, the balance sheet is kind of how I say, right? This card I see as being an analysis of what's working and what's not working. And because you guys are representing each of the opposite ends of the cycle or the opposite ends of the spectrum, I think that you're going to offer really amazing perspectives. And moving together and moving forward as a couple, you'll be able to set goals and you'll be able to set kind of future projections of really where it is you want to be. I love the synchronicity with this. You guys are super vibing together. The wavelength is like, I don't know if you guys have felt this for a very long time, but I think this is going to be great. And again, the sexual component here of nourishment and nourishing and supporting one another and being the thing that the other person needs you to be, and without any judgment and without anything. It's so safe, it is so secure, it is so loving, and there's a lot of progress to be made, which is great. And I think that you guys are preparing yourself for taking your relationship to a whole new level. So this is amazing. So enjoy it. It's going to be a great week. All right. Thank you guys so much. My single Cancers out there, what is going on with you? What is this vibe for? Why is this happening? Because you want the nourishment and you want the safety and the security, and being single, you don't have it, of course. You know where you find it? Out. Get out of the house. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. If you didn't go out for Halloween, connect with your friends, right? Now is a time to be around people that you love, because they can also nourish you as well. They can also water your root system. And for you to reconnect, like, this is an air quality. I don't like to see like water signs experiencing too much air, because it's like a fish out of water, really is what it is. And we need that root system to get the nutrients that it needs. So your friends and your family are absolutely the places to find what it is you're looking for. Four of Wands is social events and parties, weddings, anything kind of celebratory in nature. There's also just visiting family is often how I see it too. And some of you may be, really even thinking about your plans back home for the holidays, that kind of thing. There seems to be stress around that too. I know a Cancer can be very anxious and have a lot of anxiety, and I totally get that. But you don't have to let your anxiety control you. Sometimes it's like one of those things, like once you're out of the house, you feel better. And believe me, I have a lot of 12th house stuff in my chart. So sometimes when I'm out in public, I feel even more alone than when I'm alone by myself. So I get it if that's how you're feeling. However, it will be beneficial for you, and it will satiate that desire for connection that you're really wanting right now, that's kind of like at a really high level, and that will provide that security and that sense of safety, emotional safety, that you'll need as well. So just make sure that you're doing your part to alleviate. You don't have to sit and fester in the Nine of Swords. You can get out there and get out of your own head. That is within your control. All right? All right, take care, Cancer. It's only a week. It'll be fine. All right? Thank you guys so much. See you next week. Hello, Leo. Let's talk about your sexual energy. The Knave of Swords, like the Knight of Swords. Are you playing with fire a little bit? Oh, Leo, I know. Pleasure is amazing. I know. I get it. 100%. I'm trying to come up with a way to say this, right? I think you guys are wanting to indulge, but you're also being really smart about it. There's an intelligent quality that comes through with all of this because of the sword aspect. There is this sort of exploration of this new kind of energy. And this might be some, like maybe you guys have recently reconnected with someone that was so bad for you, but now the energy is different. You're like, well, I know what I'm doing going in. My whole consciousness has shifted. And now it's so different. Can I enjoy it? You know, and there's all these kind of questions coming up. But I think there's a forging ahead of the pleasure here. I mean, clearly, there's no restraint here. It's like fun and excitement, but much smarter. Much smarter this time around. And just so long as you really aren't hurting yourself, and just so long as you're not being self-destructive, I say go for it. I say have a good time. And as long as you know what you're in for, and you're not doing this based on all this kind of weird childhood subconscious psychological programming, you know, as long as you're aware of the things, then of course, by all means, move forward. If you don't know if you're making decisions based on the subconscious psychological childhood things, then I suggest don't do it, okay? Exhibit caution, because they're, like I said, it's playing with fire, especially for a Leo with such a big heart, so easy to fall in love and all of this. You know, you have to protect your heart a little bit. This is probably not the safest zone sexually. We'll talk about the couples in a minute. You guys have some other stuff going on, but for singles especially, okay? All right, Leo, I'll see you in the next reading. Okay, relationship Leos. Let's talk about your energy, which is coming out as the Two of Wands, which is so beautiful for a Leo. It's big-minded, it is optimistic, it is a powerhouse energy. It's all about manifestation. It's about really setting yourself up for a lot of success, feeling very grounded, feeling very stable, and also, more importantly, feeling very blessed and grateful. Blessed and grateful for what you have, and you do have a lot. Your partner kind of seems to have your back, right? They're watching your back. They're right there, 100% supporting you. Also kind of mirroring back to you a lot of your really amazing qualities, you know, your big pictureness, your drive, your ambition, and they might be doing that kind of stuff on their own, in their own life as well. The only thing that I'm seeing is your back is turned to them, which it doesn't concern me. I don't think that's really a big deal. I just wonder if you guys are kind of just on your own tracks right now. Being supportive of each other, being together, sure, mirroring each other in a positive way, and yet still very independent and still very autonomous. The Ten of Coins is what's bridging the gap right now. I mean, there's amazing things. There is connectivity. There is inclusivity here. With a lot of the holidays coming up, I know this is only a week-long reading, but with a lot of the holidays coming up, I'm wondering if the family stuff is going to start trickling in, and it is going to kind of keep you not so together, really. That there's still I'm still feeling like a little bit of a distance, and I'm wondering if that's how this is manifesting, right? The distance, emotional distance. Like you can still enjoy the physical aspect, but it is difficult for that deep emotional connection that I know Leos really crave a lot. You can enjoy the physical, you can have the great sex, but there's still like a bridge that needs to be crossed. And that, again, it's just a week-long thing, so don't stress. But keep your eye on the game. I think you guys are doing really, really great. And I think you're on a very solid foundation right now, which is very exciting. Venus going back direct. So I think that we are feeling that shift occurring in our relationships. So keep it going. All right. Thank you guys so much. Okay, you single Leos. 2 cards came out depicting your energy. 2 of Cups and the Ace of Swords. And I mean, it couldn't have more perfectly depicted what was going on in this one, right? There's the connection, but the vigilance. The connection, but the awareness, right? Like you're not playing this in a stupid way anyway, right? And you may really be connecting with someone that you really care about a lot, but you know the rules, like you know the game, you know how this is played. And I think you're doing it from a very humble perspective as well, and being very open, because maybe there was a reason this person came back, maybe there was a reason this connection happened or this communication happened, but at the same time, now you know, and so you're just going to let it flow. You're not going to hurt yourself, right? You're not going to indulge. You're not going to allow those intense emotions to take over you, right? It's not going to happen. You're too smart for that now. Now, the energy that's in front of you is an energy that's been coming out a lot for the singles, which is like wanting to go out, wanting to go out. And this is you not festering on any of the Ace of Swords related stuff, like the stuff that you know you need to be vigilant about, right? It's you not festering. This is you not waiting around for a text message. This is you not waiting around to hear from someone. This is you getting busy, creating, doing the things that Leos love to do, being social, being with friends, going out, doing glamorous stuff. And finding that true sense of nurturing and connection through other types of connections. There's always a possibility to meet someone in these kinds of social environments as well, and maybe even more so with that 2 of Cups coming out. Someone special, someone that could really be relevant to you in your life, in your future. So don't be afraid to go out. Don't be afraid to socialize. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to do and to meet great things. Okay? Short and sweet for you, Leo singles. Be smart. Thanks so much. Take care. Okay, Virgos, let's talk about the sexual component here, which is the 10 of Wands. And this has to do, I read the little booklet, and I'll take the quote right out of it. I know we have same-sex couples here, but it's the power of the man meeting the power of the woman. And I really love that, the power of each other coming in full force and matching each other. And there's just such a sheer, raw, vulnerable, power kind of love. I mean, this is Wands, right? It's fire, it's powerful, and it is very sexual, and it is very driven, and it's like that kind of gotta have you kind of vibe. And I feel like the sexual charge is, because we have Mars making his way into your opposite sign, right? Virgo, Mars. So you're going to feel that. You're going to feel the buildup of that. So if you're single, this could be a little bit tough because you're like, oh man, I don't really have anyone. I really want that. If you're in a relationship, you guys are going to be able to share some really amazing stuff together. So this is a beautiful card. So let's go ahead and move into the singles and relationship readings. Okay, relationship Virgos. Your energy is coming out as the High Priestess reversed. Interesting that this card came out for Geminis too, and we're making our way into this Mercury retrograde. So you guys just really aren't going to be able to contain yourselves. Like, it's just not going to happen. You're going to want to speak. You're going to want to allow this churning to have an outlet. When you're in a relationship, it's good to have someone to talk to, obviously. And I think your partner is so incredibly receptive right now, so open. There is a culture of vulnerability here, right? Not codependence, but vulnerability and authenticity, which is this whole Venus thing has been all about authenticity. So now it's you speaking your truth and your partner being like, okay, I get it. I feel it. I understand. Because what's bridging the gap between the two of you here is the sun. And in spite of maybe some mishaps that might happen with the Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, in spite of that, I think the flow of everything is going to be really smooth this upcoming week. And there's not going to be a lot of bumps. You may feel afraid, but there's no reason to be afraid because the love, like, can you just see like how the sun is kind of even reflected in this 10 of Wands as well? I know this is a little bit kinky or whatever, but I mean, there's like the one word that it described was penetration. And the way you penetrate someone's soul, the way you penetrate someone's heart, right? That real deep connection. And I feel like because both of your energies are reversed here, like that's what you have, the ability to penetrate each other's soul and to really connect on that heart-to-heart level. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of the openness and the lack of boundaries, and don't feed your fears, because if you speak, your partner will listen, and you'll be able to share that sexual experience in an incredibly, I could even say like a spiritual awakening kind of way, which is really what sex is great for, right? It's a spiritual experience, and you have the ability to do that now. There's not any blockages here, which is great. So, have a good week, Virgos. My single Virgos, coming out so peaceful, so zen, so connected. I know you guys have been working so hard. I know you've been driving yourself. You've been, traveling. You've been doing all sorts of really amazing things. And you're just feeling really at peace. Like maybe for the first time in a long time, a lot of the pieces of the puzzle are really coming back to you now. The energy that kind of you're coming up against is really amazing, which is the Empress. I don't know, is this the Empress in you? Sometimes, I'm going to do a little bit of just to get your wheels spinning a little bit. Sometimes the Empress represents our untouchability, right? Because we are so confident and we are so serene, and we have that spiritual vibe going, and we have learned how to raise our vibrations and how to work through our hard stuff, right? So we're like on a new level. And sometimes it can be very much, or it can be kind of like a little bit up on our high horse, right? A little bit too. So just be careful that you're not unapproachable, especially if you're wanting a relationship, because you may have this kind of holier than thou. And I described this in another reading, like the more you learn about yourself, the more you see how many people have not learned about themselves. And, because you are a sign that's critical, there can be judgmentalism there, and then you can be limiting yourself too. So the whole point of reason why I'm saying this is that we don't want you to be limiting yourself. We don't want you to be limiting your potential for finding love simply because you think maybe that people can't really match you or whatever. If you're not doing that, then great, that's fine. You don't need to worry about that. If you're not doing that, then you're in a beautiful place to meet someone. I mean, who's more ready for a relationship than an Empress? Who's more ready to find a connection with someone than someone who has a lot of internal peace going on, right? I mean, you guys are primed for something real, primed for something substantial. And I think you're ready for a little bit of excitement and a little bit of adventure too. I think you spend a lot of time finding stability for yourself. And now it's time for you to maybe be like, okay, I found this stability, I found this rock, I found this firm grounding, and now I can handle a little bit more. Like you're primed for it. So great for you guys. Really, really great. Enjoy. Thanks so much. Take care. Okay, Libra, let's talk about your sexual component, which is coming out as the Three of Cups, which is so passionate, so driven, and so just expressive of sexuality. There is success in love here. And if you're single, I know that that's what you are really seeking, and I know that's what you're really wanting. The one thing I'm a little bit worried is that Libra might be fantasizing a little bit too much as well. Perhaps this idea of love or this idea of amazing sex is more satisfying than the actual act of sex itself, and really living in this what it could be kind of world rather than what it is. There is a component coming out with the relationship and singles cards that suggests that, so that's kind of why I'm bringing that up, because this is the actual, like, the reality of it, but yet somehow it's kind of manifesting as not really a reality. It's an untouchable kind of thing, and there's sheer enjoyment here. But Libra, I'm wondering if you're enjoying your current circumstances as much as you would like. And I know that you are very, very passionate. I know you're very beautiful, and but you are driven by the aesthetic of sex as well. The aesthetic and what it kind of represents, and in its conceptual form, like. In a way, sometimes sex is better on like a card or in a piece of art hanging in a museum, a statue or something like that. Like, it's better expressed that way. And sometimes when you're coming up against certain energies, it's like, it's really hard to get this in real life. So be careful that you're not fantasizing it too, or kind of idealizing it a little too much this week, to bring it down to reality and to just accept it for what it is. You guys might not be totally on the same page, or you might not really be able to find that, and it's okay. It's just temporary, and it will kind of fluctuate. So just go with the flow and just kind of let whatever needs to happen, happen. All right? Thank you. Relationship Libras. Queen of Swords reversed. Why is she reversed? Why is there this indecision? I feel like your partner is waiting on you for something. Your partner's energy is coming out as the Three of Wands. Maybe you're waiting on them. Maybe they're just kind of standing still. Maybe you're wanting to hear from them and you're not hearing from them. Maybe there's something going on that is just like, do I want this? Do I not want this? Do I, like, maybe there's just a lot of questions up in the air right now. And you're kind of tapping into that indecisive Libra quality right now. The energy that's bridging the gap between the two of you is the Two of Coins. This is why I was saying, like, maybe it's better in fantasy, because in reality there seems to be some kind of disruption going on. Something's not matching. Your head and your heart are not really in alignment, which makes that Three of Cups connection like really tough to find. You guys are kind of just on opposite ends of the spectrum here. Maybe your partner is also being somewhat indecisive about something too. And so together there's just not really a lot of progress. So this might be a week. Again, it's just a week of just a little bit of stagnation. Venus going direct, kind of finishing out her sort of transit in your sign and then moving back into Scorpio. So there is reason to be confused, I guess, right? Because you're just not quite sure exactly where you're being led or exactly sure where you're being guided. But there's no need for you to get stressed. Okay, there's no need for you to get stressed. There's also no need for you to get sharp and snippy. I know that when Libra gets angry, they can be really cutting with their words, right? The Queen of Swords reverse specifically can be very sharp. She can like verbally assault people really well. So now is going to be a time to tap into that more diplomatic Libra quality and just be nice, right? Just be nice and just say, hey, I'm just going through something, just trying to figure it out, not quite sure what to do. And communicate, because Mercury retrograde is going to kind of mess with our communication this month. So to be sure to communicate what's going on. Your partner may be a little bit zip-lipped, but that's okay. At least you know you're doing your part. At least the Two of Coins does suggest some level of balance. At least you guys are keeping all the balls in the air. No one's dropping anything. No one's moving. No one's changing. It's all just like, it's all being handled. It's all being managed. So that's a good thing. All right. It's going to be an interesting week for you guys, but you'll make it through. All right. Thank you. Single Libras mirroring the relationship Libra energy coming out, moon reverse. Look, you're coming out of a confusing time. You're coming out of a time of maybe not really knowing what's what, or who's who, or whose role is important and whose role isn't. You know, maybe you're coming out of a time when you yourself were trying to define your own path. The energy that you're coming up against is kind of even just your own isolation. Both of these cards are very isolated energies. And I know that Libra, and I may have said this last week too, but you've been doing this whole up the mountain, down the mountain, up the mountain, down the mountain thing. Like there's been so much push-pull with your spirituality. Like you're trying to take yourself as high as you can go, but you also know you need to be in life too. Like you need to be involved with the people that you love and the people that care about you. But here you are, I think, kind of making your way back up the mountain a little bit too. And that's why I said that about this kind of being in fantasy, because there's no way with these energies coming out that you're going to make that happen in a reality. Like you're kind of taking a nap right now. You're pulling it back. You're thinking about things. And so maybe there's going to be some kind of fantasy that's lived out by yourself, right? Masturbation or whatever, or just kind of in your own mind or in your dream state or whatever. But, you know, this is not the best energy for you guys to go out and find a partner, because you have to get outside to go find a partner. The good news is the moon energy is clearing and the weirdness and confusion is clearing. So within the next week or so, when Jupiter moves into Sagittarius, I suspect you guys are going to be feeling much more social, especially if you're a Libra and ascendant and you have that happening in your third house. You're going to be feeling like, oh, I actually really do want to connect with people. And that will be like a year-long energy, which will be great. And this whole like up and down kind of thing that's been going on, it's not going to be a problem, right? It's not going to be a thing next year. You're going to be out there and you're going to be doing your thing. So it's okay if you need to still like meditate and still connect spiritually, of course. I mean, do what you want, right? You're a free agent, do what you want. But don't also get upset if you don't feel sad if you don't feel like you have anyone, because you're also not really doing that work or putting in that effort right now. Maybe next week, maybe the week after, when Venus starts moving forward and she's, doing you a few more favors. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Take care. Okay, Scorpio, let's talk about your sexual energy. I'm smiling because of the description that I just read in the book, which says, pleasure is like hot coals. It does not flame, yet it burns. And I was like, oh my God, that's so perfect for a Scorpio right now, right? After the mess of the Venus stuff that you've just been through, it makes sense that you're kind of storing up this sexuality. There is an isolation quality going on with you guys right now, being in your own world, being in your own space, letting your heart just kind of settle and coming off of that intense edge that you just walked down, right? You're letting the adrenaline settle. And yet I know that you're very passionately charged right now. Mars making his way out of Aquarius, whenever, planets, for me, whenever planets are kind of in the later degrees of the sign, I do feel really strong energies of that. And I always say it's like this. It's almost as though the planet procrastinated this whole time and they need to get all the stuff done right away. And so they push a whole bunch of stuff at you. And a Mars in Aquarius is hypersexual. I mean, it's like really it's like electric sexuality. And because you and Aquarius are so intimately connected, I know you're feeling it, you're squaring, right? And it's like, really acting against your moons, your Venuses, your own Mars, whatever. And, I feel as though there is passion, but it's all inside. Like it's not really getting expressed. So we'll talk about that within the relationships and the singles. But I mean, interesting. It's interesting. It's short-lived. 1 week, guys. Just keep it for a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most, and then we'll be out of it. All right? See you guys. Relationship Scorpios. Why Four of Swords? You're just trying to take a beat, right? Just trying to catch your breath, trying to make sense of what the heck just happened, trying to just find your footing and find your grounding. You deserve it. You do deserve the break, and I know you need it. I know you need to reconnect and really figure out what your next step is. I think there's a lot of strategy involved with this here. Your partner is on a whole different track, though. While you're doing this, your partner is doing this. And this is power, right? They're going out. They're really doing things. You guys seem to be taking on an air of autonomy, right? You guys are each just in your own little worlds. And you have the 9 of coins as kind of bridging the gap. You both are being supportive of one another. You both have a lot to offer one another, but you're also very independent. Like I said, you're just on your own path right now. You're not really vibing, which is why I think that it's like the coals are hot, but they're not burning, right? They don't burn because you're not indulging in that right now. But it's very much alive, but you're using that libido, you're using that sexuality in a very different kind of way. You're channeling that energy. Now, if you are having sex, if you are connecting intimately, it's probably very physical, right? Just physical, and maybe not a lot of emotion going on. I mean, Magician, coins, and swords, I mean, these are not the emotional cards that we like to see. So if you are experiencing sexuality, there's still stuff inside of you that's really wanting to come out. And yet I still see a healthy connection. I don't see irreverence here at all. I believe you guys are on a great track. I like the supportive aspect that's going on with the 9 of coins. And I do like the fact that you at least have a channel of communication that's open. I don't see repression here, except if you just eject yourself a little bit too much and your partner may be like, forget you guys. I'm just got to go do my own thing. Just so long as you don't shut them out completely or shut them out entirely. I don't see jealousy going on. I don't see anything negative going on here, which is great. So finally, Venus coming out of retrograde really impacted you. I know it did. And I think you're finally feeling it easing up a little bit, which is great. Okay. All right, you guys, I wish you nothing but the best. Okay, you single Scorpios, coming out as the Knight of Coins. Slow and steady wins the race. I know you guys are finding your footing, like I said. You're finding that grounding, and you're just enjoying it. I think you are enjoying it, but there's a lot of analysis going on too. I think there's a lot of analysis really looking at what happened. You don't have to indulge so deeply in the past. You don't have to allow psychological scarring. And the more you look at it, the more likely it is to cause a scar. Something good came out of it. I think a lot of you found freedom. I think a lot of you found new depths of your spirituality from whatever this past experience is or what it may be. And I think that maybe for some of you, you have an opportunity for passion or you have an opportunity for that connection, but you're being held back by fear. You're restraining and restricting yourself. And you know what, Scorpio, even though you're like the sign of sex, you are also one of the most sexually restricted signs. And you can go for very long periods of time without sex because you do want it to be extraordinary. And Scorpio is not someone that can settle for dispassionate connection at all. Like, it just cannot do that. And so in a way, there's analysis going on. Analysis of what you're capable of, analysis of what you really want, analysis of how you've changed, and analysis of what to do moving forward. But it doesn't stop the passion from burning inside. I know you guys are feeling I know you're feeling it. I know you're feeling like you want to express it, but I also know you don't want to make the same mistakes twice. I know you don't want to go backwards. I know you don't want to go down that path again. So maybe this is a real turning point, right? And as Venus makes her way back through your sign this month, I think there's going to be a lot of benefit to all the lessons that you just learned. And you're going to see yourself propel in growth in a really profound kind of way over the next 1 and 2 months. And this is kind of that, the energy that has been stored and penned up for the sake of that jump forward. Okay? All right, Scorpios, you have a good week, all right? I'll talk to you soon. Sagittarius, your sexual energy coming out as the Two of Cups. Oh, Two of Cups is so amazing. It's tender and it's affectionate and it's very, mutual attraction and reciprocity. And, I know that you're very vulnerable because of, how could you not be with what just happened in the sign right before yours? And it's weird that vulnerability and that kind of rawness is what actually is making you very attractive right now. There's kind of this sheer openness is really the only way that I can think to describe it. This sheer openness, and yet there's also a fear quality. If you're single, be careful that you're not attracting people who like to say, like the damsel in distress savior type people. That's not necessarily the best connection. So just make sure you're on point with that. But other than that, like if you're in a relationship right now, I feel like the sexual energy is very electric. It's very charged, but it's not just on the physical level. Because this is coming out as a cups, it's so much deeper than that. And it's a time when you can actually take your spiritual practice to a new level through emotional and physical connection. And where you guys have a lot to offer each other here. If you're single and you don't have anyone, I know that desire for affection is really strong. And I know that your heart really wants to be there for someone. There's like that urge to care. And, that's neither good nor bad. That's a beautiful thing, but that's just kind of the energy that's at play right now. So it's good for you to keep in mind, especially if you're dating, your rawness and your vulnerability, because that can work for you in really amazing ways, or it can work against you by attracting the kind of, knight in shining armor types that like to come save people, right? So just be cognizant of the vibe you're putting out there and be cognizant of the vibes that you're picking up from other people, okay? All right, Sagittarius, amazing. See you guys. Relationship Sagittarius people, amazing. I love this so much. There is electricity, there is optimism, there is new adventure at play. You just seem to just be really just going after it, feeling a charge of wanting to accomplish, wanting to establish this new life, wanting to be creative and innovative and to use that very high mind of yours, which is great because your partner is there and is totally offering whatever it is you're needing. Here's your partner, Page of Coins. Here it is. Here it is. And if they love you, it's going to be exactly the right thing that you need at the right moment that you need it. But they're not going to be overly invasive, If you need something, ask. Don't be afraid to ask, okay? If you need something, ask. They'll be happy to do it. It's not going to be like... I was going to say it's not going to be overbearing, okay? That's a good... I was laughing because I just had a thought come into my mind, but it's not relevant for you guys. So the energy that's bridging the gap between the two of you is actually your own energy too. You seem to be at the forefront of this whole thing, kind of calling the shots a little bit. You seem to be the one that is directing the relationship. So whether you're male or female is kind of irrelevant. Again, 2 cards of a very strong libido, 2 cards of deep passion, and it's being applied to any and all areas of your life. Partner just kind of doing their thing, right? Your back even kind of, this is your card, right? Card of Sagittarius. Your back kind of even turned to them, which means you're taking on a very independent vibe. I think you may be like, okay, yes, a lot just happened, but I also know that I don't have to be a victim to that either. Yes, you may be raw. Yes, you may be vulnerable, but it doesn't determine your life. So you're still forging ahead. This is a really mature place to be. I think this Venus retrograde really is causing all of us to tap into our maturity here, and especially the people that are aware, like tarot and astrology watchers, tapping into that higher mind. so that you're not subjected to kind of these weird emotions. But I mean, really, really excellent energy for you, Sagittarius. Really great connection. Keep it going. Have fun, right? Just have a good time. All right. Thank you guys so much. Single Sagittarius, you're coming out of winter. Yay. You're coming out of it. You're coming out of the tough spot. You're making your way. You're seeing the sunshine. And you know what's going to happen? People are going to want to be a part of you. You're going to have friends connecting with you. You're going to have potential romances connecting with you. I mean, it's like almost like an immediate thing. It's like the minute a Sagittarius decides to turn their life around, and the minute they decide, I don't want to be in a winter blizzard anymore. I want to be in the summertime, in the sunshine. I want the good things that life has to offer. I don't want to be in this barren environment. The minute that they decide that is the minute they start manifesting it. It's like a no-brainer, obviously. Sagittarius is a very powerful manifestation energy, and I've seen my Sagittarian friends turn their lives around real quick, right? They have a propensity to kind of get into the depths of despair, but if they don't play into that, if they're more mentally strong and more mentally brave than that, then they don't. And they just change their life, just turn it around. And the minute they do is the minute the universe gives them what they want. For those of you who are wanting a relationship, right? Because I know you're wanting that connection. I know you're wanting that, depth. I know you're wanting the depth. I know you're wanting the meaning. And I think this Page of Cups could be quite promising. Don't put all your eggs in one basket right away. Be careful too that you're not misconstruing people's compassion for romantic interest, especially if you are very raw. Now is not a time for you to be jumping into something new if you just got out of something, but rather to accept the help that you're needing. And that's it. Okay, no one can fix you, right? And I know you don't want anyone to try to fix you. It's not your vibe, it's not your style, you can't handle that. So just allow it to unfold, allow people to be there, allow people to help you, and don't worry because it's coming. Plain and simple. All right? All right, Sagittarius, thank you guys so much. Okay, Capricorn, your sexual energy is coming out as the Hierophant. Now, this is not the most sexually expressive card. Doesn't mean you don't want to have that in your life. It doesn't mean you don't want to express yourself that way. It doesn't mean you won't. It just means that right now is a time for ensuring that you are in a proper emotionally safe environment. And before calling on your higher power, your guides, your soul, whatever, before calling on that, just using your intellectual mind and using your kind of sets of morals and standards to really determine if your circle and your support system is what it really needs to be. There's really not a lot of emotional stuff going on here. I'm kind of looking at this card, I'm like, and I read the description and really what it means. And really the word that they're using is support. It's support. And for your relationship, Capricorns, you'll see where that comes into play with your reading. But right now, sexual component for Capricorn is just very dry. And you may even be protective of yourself too, and really making sure that you're not just being with just anybody, and you're not really the type of person that would do that. It normally does that, especially if you're a female Capricorn. You really want to make sure that that person is stable, that person is intellectually or logically makes sense. There's a practical element here. Make sure that this whole thing is beneficial to all parties involved, let's say that. So, it's kind of an interesting sexual energy. Not the most exciting, not the most raunchy, but it is what it is, and it's only for a week. So no matter what your sexuality is doing, make sure that you do feel safe and make sure that you are supporting one another and that's the environment. If you don't have that, I would recommend just kind of, letting the week pass you by and not really worrying so much about it. All right? Thank you guys so much. Okay, relationship Capricorns coming out beautiful and optimistic. Page of Wands is adventurous. You know, he's really ready to start the new chapter. He's really ready to embrace this whole new kind of whatever he's got in front of him. I don't even know. Whatever he's got in front of him. Your partner is coming out. You seem to be in the more supportive role here. You seem to be the one that's more catering to the relationship or more catering to your partner's endeavors, even though, you know, oftentimes you are either equal or even more so of, you know, the go-getter or the outside world, material gatherer, breadwinner, whatever you want to call it. More often, very often is that the Capricorn energy is. But right now you're kind of taking a step back. And you're being there for them, and you're being there for their endeavors and their environments, which is great for you to do. And being the support system, not only ensuring that you have a support system, but also being the support system too, right? That's a two-way street. The energy that's connecting both of you is the Hierophant. Magician, sorry, just from the other one, the Magician. Communication is at play here. There is probably going to be a need for communication here. I think the two of you together, it's kind of like a power couple stuff going on. And you being the power behind the power. You being the power behind the power. And you being the supporter of someone's dreams. You're the one who takes the tools off the table and hands them to your partner and saying, you know, like, what do you need? This is really amazing because there's such a beautiful sharing. Because I know you have so much to offer, and it's this like, I have so much to give and I want to give it to you. And there's that true, genuine desire to be there for someone else. There's true compassion for someone else. And together, you guys are going to start really achieving these dreams of yours. Together, you're going to be taking your relationship to new levels. New heights of understanding and respect. I think you respect your partner. You know, you respect them. And you want them to be free. You want them to succeed. There's no doubt in my mind that you are like, yes, please go. I love you. I want to see the absolute best for you, because what's best for you is also best for me too. You know? So that's amazing. Good for you. I'm so happy. The readings are coming out so incredibly positive this week. I'm so thrilled. All the Venus stuff is over. Who cares about Mercury retrograde, right? That's not even a thing after Venus. Like, please, not even a thing. So let's go ahead. I'll move into the singles next, all right? Capricorn singles, Death reverse. This is the energy coming out, and nothing is holding you back now, right? Death is always such a process. It takes so much time, and sometimes when we're in the thick of it, we just don't even know. The good news is I think this only applies to the Venus stuff, and here it is finishing out, and we're calling it a day. And a lot of the beautiful things and a lot of the lessons that we learned over the past few weeks, it's coming to a close, right? The intense study session is now officially over. We took our final exam, or we're about to take our final exam. And once it's over, then we fulfilled our duty. We fulfilled our obligation. So now it's like smooth sailing, because what's got the energy that you're dealing with that's supposed to be like a blockage is not a blockage at all. It's actually like the universe wanting to give you everything you want, everything you've earned. And there's going to be opportunities for travel. There's going to be opportunities for dating and finding love. Remember the support quality of this too. Ensuring that you're in the right circles, ensuring that you have all the right people and the right players. Because the Wheel of Fortune can take you to heights that you can't even begin to imagine at this time. You're going to start seeing little synchronicities, right? Whether it's the master numbers, or whether it's like people coming into your life kind of randomly, people coming back. You know, I'm not sure what it is or how it's going to manifest for you, but I absolutely believe that within the next 2 or 3 months, you're going to be in a totally different space up here, and maybe even like physically, like you're going to start seeing the true process of alchemy, right? The true alchemical process of what happens when you go through this kind of change and this kind of breakdown, what happens in the outside world. Like, pay attention to the way your world changes, because you're getting some real blessings here. And it's because of the changes that you've made inside. So this is excellent, and I'm so excited for you. All right, Capricorn, good luck. Thank you guys so much. Hello, Aquarius. Let's talk about the sexual component for you guys this week, which is coming out as the Nine of Pentacles, which is so beautiful. There's a quality of nourishment that comes here with the description of this card, nourishing one another. And there's also an air of like real secrecy and keeping things inside. This came out for another sign too as well. I can't remember which one, but keeping things inside, keeping things private, keeping things to yourself, and giving each other power, feeding each other. If you're single, I know that you're wanting that kind of nourishment, right? The kind that comes from another person's heartbeat and from another person's breathing and from just comfort with being with someone who's special to you. For those of you who are in relationship, sorry, I'm getting off track here. I'm just kind of thinking, because this is, I know that passion is very much within you, but I also know that this isn't the most expressive energy either, meaning because it is so secret and it is so internalized that it's not going to happen with just anybody. And it's not just going to happen with your partner. It's got to happen in the right moment with the right timing, and just the environment has to be so conducive to this kind of thing. And it's beautiful, and it's worth exploring this if you have that opportunity, because it will help you grow. This kind of sexual expression does help you grow. So this is a really, really beautiful energy. So good for you guys. All right, let's go ahead and move into this relationship, Aquarius. Coming out as justice. Interesting. Very concerned about all aspects of the situation. Very concerned about yourself, very concerned about your partner, concerned about the outcome. I believe you are being very supportive right now, but also being very, there's a line, very cut and dry. And I think you are providing support, but that's it. Like maybe emotional or mental support, but you're not taking it overboard here. There's an element of fairness, of speaking your mind, of being truthful, and not, there's no deception here at all, right? So you're in a very pure place, which is amazing. Your partner is coming out as the Two of Wands. So they seem to be in a new world kind of place, which is probably why your foundational quality is so important for them and why they're actually looking at you, because they are looking at you and they might be incorporating you into their world. They might be incorporating you into their emotional space. They are projecting a future with you and other things. It's not just you, right? It's work and their spirituality and their family and all these. There's a whole bunch of different components, and I think what's happening is they're trying to figure out your piece in the puzzle. They're also maybe trying to figure out if you want to be there too. The good news is the energy that's bridging the gap between the two of you is the Six of Wands, and I think that you're very much like, yes, I want to be there. Yes, come on, let's go. If you're sitting there and you're not wanting to be there, I have a feeling that the people that we're going to be breaking up probably would have already broken up during this Venus retrograde. If that was like really where the relationship was headed, they probably already did that. So now the Venus retrograde is about reestablishing the unity. The Venus going direct. Yeah, we have the Mercury retrograde, but I think it's like easy peasy compared to the Venus stuff. It's like nonsense compared to the Venus stuff that we just went through. So we have a time for expansion. We have a time for growth. We have a time for the relationship to take new levels and to reach new heights. And I think you're totally there. Totally there. So it's okay to open up lines of communication, I think, and to really just gauge, okay, if you want to know where your partner is thinking, just ask. Okay, just ask. They're being very supportive of you, and you also being very supportive of them, which is awesome. So, okay, Aquarius, good reading. Thank you guys. Single Aquarius, your energy coming out, Six of Swords. Where are you going? What are you leaving and where are you going? There is smooth waters up ahead. If you are leaving a very turbulent situation, I know that you're seeking this. I know that this is what you want. And I know that you didn't have that. So where you're headed is toward some level of peace of mind. The energy you're dealing with is the Two of Swords. I know you can't see the future right now. I know you can't see where this is all going. And I think that you're feeling the weight of a perceived crossroads. I don't think you're really at a crossroads, but what I think is that you're trying to control some kind of outcome to a certain extent. The best advice I could give is to be okay with however it's meant to go and to trust your instinct, because you'll know what the right answer is. That's the thing with this card that I always say. It's like, you'll know. And I know that your mind is going crazy this month, and I even talked about that in the monthlies. Like, I couldn't pick up on your energy at all because it was just all over the place. You don't have to succumb to the insanity that Two of Swords can really put you through, of like, do I do this, do I do that, do I do this, do I... That's so, like, it doesn't have to be that way. What you can do instead is to just trust and to just have faith that an opportunity is going to come up for you. And if you take it, it's going to be okay. If you don't take it, it's going to be okay. But this extra time being spent on trying to decipher what needs to be done, it's not needed right now. What's needed now is your peace and your awareness of your own thoughts. You are moving toward steady waters. There's no doubt in my mind. You are headed toward peace. And when you have peace, you're more likely to incorporate a new person into your life, right? This is for single people, probably people who want a relationship, people who want to be able to share this amazing connection with someone. But you also have to learn how to nourish yourself. Two swords can be tough. You know, two sword cards can be tough because it's all up here. Where's the heart? You know, where's the feeling? Where's the emotion? Are you thinking yourself into a certain like box, right? Let's get out of the masculine sword energy and get into the more fluid, even the Pentacles is even a feminine energy, right? It's an earth energy. Let's get more into that feminine quality so that we can be more... You need both masculine and feminine, but it might be a little bit too much on the masculine side, too much up here. You're not going to be able to think your way through this. You got to just flow through this, okay? So it's only a week. It's not that big a deal. Clear waters ahead, 100%. All right? See you guys next week. Hello, Pisces. Your sexual energy is coming out as the Emperor, which is virility, right? It is strong sexual libido. Really, really strong. But there's control over it. It's not this unruly force that, you can't, no. You know how to be that master of yourself and how to channel that sexuality into other things if you don't have an outlet for it. There's a tantric quality to this as well, right? It's a spiritual practice that can be applied and really understanding how the sexual energy applies to your spirituality, right? Because it's not a function of the body, or it doesn't have to be. You can polarize that and go from physical to spiritual if you so choose. And you can choose to incorporate another person or do that on your own. So, there's a lot of little moving pieces with the Emperor energy, but he's very powerful and he's very prominent. And I suspect that you guys are like feeling like, yeah, I'm really sexually charged. Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely feeling it. I'm definitely feeling Mars coming into our sign. Like it's almost here, it's coming. And we're feeling this like anxiousness about it, but yet also this control over the anxiousness too, which is very empowering. So this is great. Good for you guys. Enjoy it, especially if you have someone to enjoy it with. Just go out there and have fun. All right? See you guys with the next spread. Relationship Pisces, your energy coming out, Page of Wands. Optimistic, adventurous, also sexual, also wanting to kind of take things to a new level, feeling like you just really want to have a good time. Coupled Pisces, you're just wanting to have a good time because your partner is coming out as the Three of Cups, and the energy that's bridging the gap between the two of you is the Wheel of Fortune. Could this be any more Jupiterian, right? Pisces, Jupiter, Sagittarian, Jupiter, Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter, Three of Cups, fun, enjoyment. Oh my gosh, like amazing stuff going on. You being very supportive, right? Being in the supportive role. Where are you? You being in the supportive role of what your partner is doing and being like totally there for your person. And I think that they are pulling you out of the house and being like, come on, let's go do something fun. I want to go out. I want to have drinks. I want to go have an elegant night, or I want to go, to the arcade or whatever. I don't even know, whatever. Like just go do something silly, bowling, whatever. And just like let loose, because it's been so intense lately, and it's time for things to just start going easier. And like, let's just all get out of our heads. Let's get out of our emotions, and let's just like allow the good stuff to come, right? Jupiter is making his transit this week. We've got Venus going back direct, and Mars coming into your sign. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the docket right now for us in the next few weeks. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of shift, and I think it's going to be really positive shift. And we're starting to see the effects of it right now as Venus kind of gives us a break, right? Thank God we're getting a break from that, because that was a lot, the Venus stuff, that was a lot for a lot of us. There were a lot of breakups, there were a lot of fights, there were a lot of issues, and now it's time to just let the dust settle and to not deal with that stuff anymore, and to find that connection. And you guys, like, this is amazing. I mean, like, enjoy this. Clearly you have a partner who's up for it, right? Clearly you have a partner who's wanting to have a good time and maybe even sexually to experiment a little bit, right? If that's the case, great. If not, great, but just let loose, just let yourself be free, let yourself have fun, and just be happy. You have a lot of reason to be happy right now. All right? Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week. Okay, single Pisces coming out as the Page of Swords, which is curious and rambunctious and a little bit of a pot stirrer, a little bit maybe, going out there causing some trouble. There's communication, maybe you've got your eye on someone, maybe you're kind of paying attention to someone. I know you're seeking that connection. Like, you can't not be, right? You can't not be. You're sexually charged. We're all sexually charged, please. But you probably the most of all the cards that I pulled, probably you the most. So, I mean, here you are feeling this like, I just need to have a good time. And I like this card because it is fun, but yet there is still something holding you back. The energy that you're really dealing with, it's all up here, guys. Seven of Swords. I know you've been through some shit. I know that there's been like dark clouds hanging over all of us, but now the sun is coming out and there's really no need for us to continue to hold ourselves back. There's no need to continue to hang on to fear and doubts and insecurities, all that stuff. It's just our mind going like this. It doesn't mean anything. It's not real. And if you want a boyfriend, you want a girlfriend, and you want to be able to have someone to like take this out on, right? To take that out, to have that outlet, you're going to need to put yourself out there, and you're going to need to go out and be social. You're going to need to talk to people. You're going to need to get creative. And for those of you, like, maybe just Tinder is fine, or maybe going out to a party is fine, or, reconnecting with your friends and being like, hey, do you know any single people that are awesome that you could introduce me to? That kind of stuff. But being active and seeking that out, because I know that you guys want that, but you can't think yourself there. You have to actually like apply, right? Apply the stuff. You've learned a lot of lessons. We all have. We've learned a lot of lessons. We've done a lot of stuff. We've gone through a lot of stuff. And now we're ready to enjoy the benefits of those lessons, right? Because we do deserve it. We do deserve to enjoy the benefits of the lessons. All right? So don't be afraid. Don't hold yourself back. Just be who you are. No one cares. Have a good time. All right? Thank you guys so much, Pisces.